What's next for disgraced Andrew? More titles stripped, money snub and move abroad. After the bombshell statement that Andrew would be losing all of his titles and his Royal Lodge home, here we take a look at what could be a turbulent few weeks ahead. After being stripped of all titles and forced out of Royal Lodge, Andrew has now had several days to contemplate his new life as a commoner. Following the bombshell Buckingham Palace statement, the former prince is now simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and must leave his 30-room Windsor mansion for a much smaller property on the king's private Sandringham estate. It came after the king finally decided to wield the axe on his younger brother's royal life after he was heckled in public over his disgraced brother's sex scandal. The monarch ended Andrew's life of entitlement and privilege after sensing public revulsion over the litany of tawdry allegations leveled against him, which Andrew vehemently denies. He has not been seen since the seismic statement, with many wondering exactly what is next for the disgraced royal. And it seems he is still in for several turbulent weeks ahead. Sandringham move once the length process to untangle Andrew from his lease of Royal Lodge in Windsor. He will move to the Sandringham estate, which is owned privately by the king. It is unclear exactly which of the estate's 150 properties he will live at, with several mooted as possibilities such as Park House, where the late Princess Diana was born, and current Holiday Let Gardens House. But former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond told the Mirror that once the move happens, it could be a very different life for Andrew. She explained, "It seems to me that Andrew's life will entail him being even more of a hermit than in recent years, and that's saying something. The Sandringham estate is vast, some 20,000 acres with about 150 properties, including villages and hamlets. So I suppose Andrew could be part of a new community, although it seems rather doubtful that many communities would welcome him in their midst. The king has extended him a modicum of mercy, allowing him to live on his private estate where he will not even indirectly incur any expense to taxpayers. Whether he will have any staff remains to be seen. Can he cook for himself? Has he ever had to sort out the shopping or do the cleaning? The answer is probably no. Perhaps he will now have to learn. Fergie gone. Another major change in store for the former prince is not having his former wife, Sarah Ferguson, live with him. The pair resided at Royal Lodge together from 2008, but it is understood she won't be moving with her ex-husband and will be making her own accommodation arrangements. Reports have suggested that the strain of the last few weeks, which have also seen Fergie lose her Duchess of York title, has prompted them to live separately again. And Jenny added, "I'm surprised that, from all accounts, Sarah is now parting company with her ex-husband after so many years of living in happily divorced togetherness. Perhaps the strain of it all has finally severed their relationship. If she does sort out her own living arrangements, Andrew will be more isolated than ever." Denied compensation. Meanwhile, it seems any compensation Andrew might have believed he was entitled to for leaving Royal Lodge will not be forthcoming. According to reports, most of his £500,000 compensation for giving up his lease on Royal Lodge will be denied. The monarch's disgraced brother was due a payout of £558,000 from the Crown estate after agreeing to quit the mansion. But a royal source admitted there is a lot of work that needs doing to the property in Windsor Great Park, and the cost of repairs is likely to affect the amount of compensation he receives, the Daily Telegraph newspaper reported. The former prince will, however, receive a one-off, six-figure payment to cover his move, plus an annual stipend privately funded by the king to prevent him from overspending in his new life as a commoner. The annual payment will be worth several times his £20,000 a year Navy pension, the Guardian newspaper reported. It is understood that the king will use private funds to cover the cost, but not his Duchy of Lancaster income. Life abroad. Andrew's Sandringham move is not believed to be happening until the new year, meaning the royal family can avoid any awkward run-ins with him over Christmas. However, following the furore surrounding him, some royal experts believe the move to Norfolk could be temporary, and he could quit the UK altogether. Royal biographer Andrew Morton told Times Radio, "I would predict that, if we're speaking about this time next year, Andrew will probably live somewhere abroad." Top of the list, it seems, is Abu Dhabi. According to The Sun, Andrew has been offered a 16,000 square feet palace from the Emirates' billionaire ruler, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, 64, known as MBZ. Andrew's potential new pad reportedly boasts 6 en-suite air-conditioned bedrooms, an indoor gym, pool, cinema, and a huge kitchens to Fedbi cordon bleu chefs. It sits within a heavily guarded complex, which is also home to 5 other palaces where a royal sheikh and government ministers live, and is surrounded by a 30-foot hedge. Privacy is paramount. There are only 2 entrances to the estate. A government-appointed guard operates a barrier to keep out the public, while a second officialis in a gatehouse to check the credentials of anyone who tries to enter. Only residents, guests and staff with government-issued passes are allowed in. A worker at one of the palaces told The Sun, "The whole area is private and very secure. The public are not allowed in and there are cameras which log every vehicle that approaches. The area is effectively under the radar. We have not heard anything official yet about Andrew moving in, but he would enjoy it here because it is very private." The chance for Andrew to escape the UK and live a new life of luxury in Abu Dhabi is down to his long-standing friendship with Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The pair hit it off when Andrew began visiting the Emirate in 2001 through his role as a trade envoy. MBZ has served as the 3rd president of the United Arab Emirates and the ruler of Abu Dhabi since 2022. Military honors stripped. Meanwhile, when it comes to his honors and titles, Andrew's name has already been struck from the roll of peerages, starting the formal process to remove his Prince and Duke of York titles. But it seems he is set to lose another top honor and be stripped of his honorary rank of Vice Admiral, the Defense Secretary has confirmed. John Healey said his department was working to remove the rank, which Andrew was awarded on his 55th birthday in 2015. The rank is his last remaining honorary military title since he handed back the others in 2022 over his connections with the pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Healey said, "In general, the government's been guided by the decisions and judgments the king has made. In defense, it's exactly the same. And we've seen Andrew surrender the honorary positions he's had throughout the military, and guided again by the king. We are working now to remove that last remaining title of Vice Admiral that he has." The Defense Secretary would not comment on whether Andrew would be able to keep his medals, including the campaign medal he received for his service in the Falklands War, but said the Ministry of Defense would be guided by the decisions the king makes. The move has reportedly not been ruled out by Buckingham Palace, giving evidence, and while his titles are being removed and his house maves being planned, pressure is now building on him to give evidence before a powerful U.S. congressional committee about his links to pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. Members of the House Oversight Committee have since called for the former prince to reveal about what he knew about the actions of the convicted sex trafficker, and U.S. Attorney Spencer Kuvin, who represents a number of Epstein's victims, told The Mirror he should come to the U.S. and submit himself to the jurisdiction. The U.S. should request extradition with the House Congressional Committee. Royalty should not make him immune to this and he should want to assist the committee as he has said himself in the past wants to help the victims. Andrew, 65, agreed a reported £12 million out-of-court settlement with his accuser Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide in April aged 41, in order to stop a civil trial taking place following her claims he abused her. The payment made no admission of liability and he has always denied any wrongdoing. Democrat Representative Raja Krishnamurthy said, "I would go so far as to subpoena him. Enforcing the subpoenas is not easy for somebody who's on foreign soil. However, if Andrew wishes to come to the United States or he's here, then he's subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. Congress, and I would expect him to testify."